Good day, everyone. This is SignSaya, a mobile application designed for Filipino Sign Language interpretation, using real-time gesture recognition to help improve communication with the deaf community. Introduction. Imagine waking up in a world where you have everything to say, but the person across from you is standing behind a thick, invisible wall of glass. You speak with your hands, your face, and your heart, using a language as rich as any spoken word, but they only see silence. This is the reality for over 430 million people globally. In the Philippines alone, nearly 900,000 Filipinos communicate through the beautiful, rhythmic flow of Filipino Sign Language, FSL. Our laws, like Republic Act 11160, promise to tear down that glass wall, declaring FSL the national sign language. But laws on paper don't always translate to understanding in the streets. With only one interpreter for every 1,000 deaf Filipinos, that invisible wall remains standing in our hospitals, our schools, and our government offices. But we aren't just standing by and watching. Our research was born from this exact struggle. We stepped into this gap to address these communication challenges head-on, seeking a way to turn that silent wall into a conversation. This is how we plan to bridge the divide. We stepped into this gap to address these communication challenges head-on, seeking a way to turn that silent wall into a conversation. This is how we plan to bridge the divide. If the communication gap is a wall, then we aren't just dreamers, we are the architects. To tear that wall down, we set out with one mission: to build SignSaya, an Android application designed to be a real-time bridge between the hands of the deaf and the ears of the hearing. But you don't build a bridge without a solid foundation. First, we gathered the bricks, the data, stories, and lived experiences of the community. Then, we assembled our toolkit. We didn't just use code. We used Python and OpenCV to give the app eyes to see movement, MediaPipe and TensorFlow to give it a brain to recognize gestures, and Firebase to keep everything connected in the cloud. We mapped out every turn of this journey, from the first flowcharts and storyboards to the final line of Kotlin code. The result? SignSaya isn't just a translator. It's a home for learning. Inside, it transforms signs into text and text back into signs instantly. It's a place where users can play, test their skills with FSL quizzes, and explore a deep dictionary of gestures. Every great mission needs a clear map. For SignSaya, our mission was clear: to empower local Filipino communities. We didn't just build this app in a vacuum. We built it for the student in the classroom, the worker in the office, and the family at home. By aligning with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we made sure our work wasn't just about code. It was about quality education, reduced inequality, decent work and economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure, and giving the deaf community a seat at the table of progress. To make this a reality, we gathered our blueprints from libraries and sat down with FSL teachers and deaf individuals to hear their stories. We turned our own desks into laboratories, using i5 processors and webcams to teach our AI how to see. We forged this tool specifically for Android, the most accessible language of technology in the Philippines. But even the most powerful tools have their boundaries. SignSaya is a specialist. It speaks Filipino Sign Language and nothing else, honoring the unique linguistic identity of our nation. It is a bridge built for the here and now. While it is powerful, it is not infinite. It relies on the light in the room and the quality of the lens to see clearly. And its vocabulary is a carefully curated library of essential signs rather than every word in existence. We've tested its strength with IT experts and local users alike, ensuring it meets international ISO standards. Every great victory begins with a map. Before a single line of code was written for SignSaya, We stood at the gates of Mabalacat Elementary and Mawake Resettlement High School. We weren't just researchers. We were observers, learning from the SPED programs and the students who navigate a silent world every day. This was our planning phase, where we defined our mission to turn complex machine learning into a simple, life-changing conversation. But a strategy needs intelligence. We dove into the research phase, scouring libraries and academic journals like scouts looking for a path. We didn't just read, we listened, conducting interviews and surveys to ensure that the bridge we were building was one the deaf community actually wanted to cross. Then came the assembly. We transformed a simple desk, powered by an i5 processor and a GTX graphics card. We gathered our magical tools, MediaPipe to act as the app's eyes, TensorFlow to serve as its brain, and Python and Kotlin to weave them together into a seamless experience. We didn't build blindly. We used storyboards and Betaflow diagrams to visualize every step, ensuring that when a user moved their hand, the data flowed like a clear stream. Building a bridge across a great divide requires more than just hope. It requires a master plan. Before a single brick of code was laid for SignSaya, we sat down to draft the architect's blueprint, using precision tools to ensure no detail was left to chance. Our first tool was the storyboard, the artist's sketch of our dream. We visualized the very moment a user opens the app, mapping out the journey from the first camera permission to the mode selection screen. We saw the path a user would take, whether they were translating a hand gesture into text or searching for a sign in our dictionary. This wasn't just about screens. It was about imagining the smile on a user's face when they finally felt understood. To keep our structure strong, we used the Visual Table of Contents, VTalk. This was our building skeleton, organizing the app into 4 pillars: learning, translation, settings, and knowledge. It ensured that whether a user was practicing their first sign or adjusting the font for better visibility, they would never feel lost. Then we drew the flowchart, the electrical wiring of the system. We mapped the pulse of the app, showing how a live video feed travels through OpenCV, gets analyzed by MediaPipe, and is finally identified by a neural network to become a spoken word. We traced the path of a voice being captured, processed by NLTK, and transformed into a video demonstration. But we needed to see how the lifeblood of the app moved, so we created the Data Flow Diagram, DFD. It tracked the invisible flow of information from the user's hand, through our interpretation modules, and back to the screen as a clear message. Finally, we looked at the Gantt chart, our master calendar. It was the heartbeat of our project, keeping us on track through every phase of research, design, and coding. It reminded us that every hour spent in development was 1 hour closer to breaking the silence. A bridge is only as strong as the weight it can carry. To ensure SignSaya was ready to stand against the silence, we put it through 2 grueling trials. The first was the trial of the masters. We called upon 3 IT experts, our digital gatekeepers. From the bustling streets of Mabalacat to virtual halls online, they poked, prodded, and pushed the app to its limits. They scrutinized the brain of our gesture recognition and the speed of our translation. When the dust settled, the verdict was clear. With an overall mean score of 4.33, the experts gave it a resounding excellent. They confirmed that SignSaya wasn't just a project, it was a high-performance tool, scoring highest in portability and functional suitability. But the true test wasn't in the code, it was in the connection. We took SignSaya to the students of Mawake Resettlement High School for the trial of the people. Between October and November, 30 souls, both deaf and hearing, stepped onto our digital bridge. For the first time, they saw their hands transformed into text and their words turned into signs. They played the quizzes, explored the dictionary, and navigated the interface. The results were a symphony of success. The students didn't just find it functional, they found it usable, awarding that category a staggering 4.31. Every single ISO criteria, from how the app behaved to how reliable it felt, came back with a verbal interpretation of excellent, with an overall score of 4.31 from the very community it was built for. SignSaya proved its worth. It wasn't just a piece of software anymore. It had passed the trials. It was no longer just an experiment in a lab, but a proven, sturdy bridge, ready to carry the voices of the Filipino deaf community into a new era of understanding. Let's dive right into how you can start using SignSaya. On the main screen, you're greeted with three options: Get Started, I Already Have an Account, or Continue as Guest. Let's go ahead and tap Get Started. From here, simply type in your email, create a password, and confirm it. Or, for the absolute fastest way in, just click Continue with Google to instantly set up your account. Moving on to the next option. If you're a returning user, click I Already Have an Account. Just type in your registered email and password, or shortcut the process by clicking the Continue with Google button once again. Now, if you ever happen to forget your password, don't worry. Just head over and click I Already Have an Account and tap Forgot Password. From there, simply enter your registered email address, and you'll instantly receive a secure code to reset your password and get right back into the app. Last but not least, if you're in a hurry and don't want to create an account just yet, no worries. Just click Continue as a Guest for instant access. Once you've completed that first step and picked how to log in, you'll be taken straight to your dashboard. Here you can instantly track your learning level, your total XP, and your daily streak. For the third step, tap the library icon at the bottom of your screen to unlock different categories. You'll find everything from alphabets, numbers, and people, to pronouns, verbs, adjectives, greetings, questions, responses, and nouns. Let's take a look at an example, like the word he under the pronouns category. Here, you can watch exactly how to sign the word along with its description. You'll notice it's labeled as an intermediate word, meaning it takes a bit more effort to master. Right below that, you'll see the related to this section, which suggests other pronouns you might want to explore and learn. Notice the icons too. The crown symbol takes you straight to a quiz, while the heart symbol lets you save the word directly to your favorites list. Ready to keep moving? Just tap the left or right arrows at the bottom to find a new word to practice, or simply click on one of the recommended words under related to this. Finally, you'll see that the word old is categorized under advanced at the bottom, letting you know it's one of the most challenging words you can challenge yourself to learn. For the fourth step, if you're ready to test your skills with an exam, just tap Practice on the bottom left of your screen. You'll see 4 different modes to choose from: easy, medium, hard, and endless. Just looking at these options, you already know how challenging it's going to get if you want to reach that endless mode. Let's kick things off with easy mode. For the first game, your goal is to identify the right sign language using the videos provided. Take a look at the photo options, select the correct answer, and tap the check button at the very bottom. The app gives you instant feedback. If you choose the right answer, it turns green, and if you choose the wrong answer, it turns red. Tap Next Question to keep going, and once again, pick the correct answer. If you happen to make a mistake and select an incorrect answer, the app will clearly show you both the right and wrong choices. Just remember, red means it's incorrect, and green means you nailed the right answer. And now, let's go ahead and click the crown icon to take a quiz. This works very similarly to the practice questions, where your main goal is to choose the correct answer. First up, you'll pick the correct sign language based on the video shown. For the second question, you'll tackle a true or false challenge. Finally, the last part of the quiz is a fill-in-the-blank question, where you just need to choose the right word to perfectly complete the sentence. Once you're done, your final score will pop up on the screen. From there, you have full control. You can either choose to review your answers to see how you did, or tap Retry to take the quiz all over again. Next, click Translate on the bottom right side of your screen and allow the app permission to access your audio and camera. Let's start with the Sign-to-Text feature. For the best results, make sure you're in a well-lit area and using a good quality camera lens. For example, if you sign I love you, you will instantly see the text translation pop up right on your screen. Keep in mind, you can translate single words, single letters, and numbers. If you need to fix a mistake, you can easily use the clear or undo icons right here to reset. Now let's flip it over to Text to Sign. Simply type in any words, letters, or numbers you want to learn, and the app will instantly generate a video showing you exactly how to sign what you just typed. Thank you for watching the video of Group 20.